Hi, this is Jim Troutz from eXp Realty.
Karen Daly with Ekko Title, One Lounge, Ashburn.
Well, thanks for being here. Actually, I'm the one that's here. We're out of your place.
Well, thanks for suggesting this.
So anyhow, we thought that this morning we would go through and look at a couple of items that have come up on contracts that maybe are difficult things to navigate and maybe help some buyers get through some problems that might pop up during their transaction.
Sure,
right?
And sellers too, because the contract it's a guide, but sometimes it doesn't always cover every situation that comes up.
Right. So a couple of things that I've run into recently are issues dealing with appraisal and inspection, and that's in a particular paragraph inside the contract, right?
It is, yeah.
Right.
Like access specifically, right? Who gets to access the property?
Right, right. So in a transaction I had a while ago, let's go back a little bit and talk about appraisals. The contract I had said that the contract was not contingent on an appraisal. Could you explain exactly what that means?
So that means that when you submit your offer, especially now, it's a competitive market. So you try to limit the contingencies on your contract. So people will definitely say, I want the financing contingency.
Right.
But sometimes there's also a box that you can check for appraisal contingency, which says, hey, and again, it depends on the type of loan. So they are loan driven, like VA and FHA have specific language regarding appraisals.
Right.
But conventional loans, there's a little bit of negotiation and it's a little bit different. So they may say, hey, I want to make this contract contingent on the appraisal, right? And so what that means is that the appraiser is going to come out and they're saying, hey, if it appraises less than what the sales price is, then we need to talk about renegotiating the sales price, which can be in and of itself a little bit stressful.
Sure.
Ideally, what you're hoping for is that when the appraiser goes out, that it is either equal to or higher than your sales price.
Right. So now here's a question for you. If there is no appraisal contingency inside the contract, does the bank still have the right to come in and appraise the property?
So that's a really great question, and that comes up a lot, actually. Yeah. It does.
It did for me recently.
Yeah. And we see this a lot. Realtors do ask this question. They say, hey, there's no appraisal contingency. My buyer's lender is needing to get in the property to appraise the property, and the seller's saying no. So there's a paragraph in the contract, it's paragraph 11. It talks about access to the property.
Of course you know it.
Yes. So it does say that the seller will provide the buyer broker, their inspectors, like home inspectors, and representatives of lending institutions reasonable access to the property for obviously whatever they need to do. So the bank is always going to do, if you've got a financing appraisal financing contingency,
right? I know what you meant.
Yeah. If you've got that, the bank is going to send out an appraiser. So if you're representing the seller, you need to let your sellers know, hey, I know there's no appraisal contingency, right? But the bank is still going to want to make sure that there's sufficient collateral. We need to allow them to access the property. Now, timing wise, maybe you might want to wait until after the home inspection is done. They've received the HOA documents. So all of those are cleared out, right? And then you're only focusing on the appraisal. So you do want to allow them to have that access, because if they can't and they don't, then the lender may say, well, I can't approve the loan because I don't know that I have sufficient collateral. So it's kind of a little bit of a catch-22. On the one hand, you're like, yes, I don't have to worry about an appraisal. Right. But on the other hand, you do.
Yeah. So along the lines of allowing access, I had something come up a little while ago where the buyer said, look, we don't want there's no radon contingency inside there.
Right.
And then when they were doing their inspection, they said, I know there's not a contingency, but I'd still like to be able to do a radon inspection anyhow. Is that allowable?
Yes, it is allowable. So the tricky part, because this isn't the first time that this has happened either. So we see these scenarios.
Of course you do.
You may think, oh my gosh, no, this has never happened. This is a new one for me. So therefore, I must be the only one going through this. I can assure you that you're not.
Right.
So with that, yes, you can allow them. Then the question goes, okay, well, who's going to fix it if it comes back, meaning remediation? So that's where you've got to say, hey, buyer's agent, you didn't have this as a contingency.
Right.
So your client, we're going to have to talk about how, if there's a remediation, who's going to pay for that.
So the bottom line is, even though the contract might not be contingent on radon coming back the way it needs to be, the buyer has still got the right to be able to go in and check for radon, right?
Yes.
So be nice if you knew that ahead of time, right? But sometimes it doesn't always happen.
Right, and in the heat of the moment when you're negotiating, you're looking at maybe it's a multiple offer situation.
Right.
The emotions are running high. You're excited. This is great. This is great news. So after things cool down, and then suddenly like it starts going through, then you can hit these bumps, and sometimes it's just a matter of let's just get through this. And it'll
I guess the bottom line is just need to make sure you know what's inside the contract. And I think the way to do that is for agents to make sure that their clients know what's inside there. And then if there's other questions, to contact someone like you that's really got the expertise. I try not to play lawyer because I'm not a lawyer. So I call Karen a lot, and probably too much, but
okay.
But I want to make sure my clients are taken care of. So that's the important thing, is to make sure you know when you understand what you're signing when you're signing it, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm Jim Trouts from eXp Realty.
I'm Karen Daly from Ekko Title.
Thanks for your time. We hope you guys have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.